Hi everyone. So welcome to our live today on how to improve your social skills in the workplace. I'm really excited to be with you today, and I hope you're excited as I am. So before we dive into this content, I'd like to know a bit about you as well. So you can introduce yourself in the comment below and let me know one thing you would like to learn today about social skills. So my name is Yang, I'm from TheSqua. I'm the content marketing executive, and this is our guest speaker and my colleague Osei today. He's our amazing partner relationship executive.
Yeah, so as Jan said, I'm the partner relationship executive for the UK and Ireland. So I oversee more or less all of our partners in this region. So I've been here for just over a year now. I've been in the service accommodation industry for just over a year as well. Before that, I was still doing supply chain, but completely different kind of supply chain. It was in military and medical spares. So what I like about service accommodation is much less red tape, which is amazing. I don't have to jump through the hoops of government. But yeah, it's a pleasure to have you all here. I'm looking forward to this whole interview, and yeah, let's get started.
Okay. Can you tell our audience a bit about your role at TheSqua?
So my main role is to bring on new suppliers and manage existing relationships with our other suppliers. I also network a lot, so I go to quite a few events where I meet new people, new partners or new potential partners and everything. I also get to see a few of our lovely partners' properties, just in case one of our clients wants to book them, and I can just see them and give them the full rundown and be like, yeah, you want to book this place, definitely. I also do help our partners manage their portals. So say if they need any help, if there's some kind of technical issue which they face, I can then either relay that to IT, or if I can manage it myself, I can guide them through it as well. I do also negotiate things, like commission, credit. We do reviews with existing partners as well, just to make sure that things are still good. Thanks, Jace. It's been a wild ride. Still learning a lot, and still trying to develop myself. It seems like every day brings a new challenge. There's always some kind of minor teensy fire that may need to be put out here and there, but for the most of it, it's a fun job, interesting job, and you get to meet a whole lot of cool people like my colleague here.
Okay, so I've collected some questions that I'm gonna ask you.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one is, what are the common communication challenges that you face?
So sometimes it can be, I think one of the more common challenges is when you need to get a hold of someone or they need to get a hold of you and there's just no response. So say we've got an urgent inquiry and it may be for a certain area where there is absolutely no one but one person, and all of a sudden you're trying to get hold of them and they are just not there. Always a fun one, because that then devolves into the usual spamming of emails or spamming of phone calls, which can lead to a bit of frustration on both sides. It's about keeping your head cool. You may just need to step away from the computer for a bit of a reset. I'm guilty of it a lot. I may just have a little outburst in the office and then get back on the phone and be as right as rain. But I would say that's one of them. The other one is when, say, there is a heated situation and it requires you to bring the tension down. So say there have been damages to a property. That's always interesting because the client will say one thing and our partner will say another. So it always comes down to evidence. I always tell all of our partners, if there's any kind of issue, or even if they don't think there's going to be some kind of issue, please take a picture of the property beforehand, so we know what the property looked like before the client moves in and what the property looks like after. Because unfortunately, if there is no before and after pictures, we can only go by what the client says, and it usually ends up with a he said, she said situation. And from personal experience and me being me, I hate situations like that. I want to be able to go back to people and just say, look, here's what it looked like before, here's what it looked like after, and there's no in between, it's black and white. When it comes to things like this, there can't be any grey areas whatsoever. But it's also about putting it in a way which doesn't antagonize the situation further. And it may come down to that there may need to be some kind of negotiation, and it's about getting around that tactfully. Like my predecessor, he was, my previous manager, he was great at this. There were times where I would literally be like, no, this is it, this is what we need to get. But we can't, so we need to go about this in a way in which both parties come to a good resolution. I cannot think of a time where he wasn't able to get that done in a way in which I'm still trying to emulate, and I don't think I will, but I will at some point. But yeah, it's when it comes to negotiations, it's always a difficult one, especially as it's a skill which constantly needs to be developed, and it can be an uncomfortable situation because when money's involved, it's always an uncomfortable situation, and it's about getting over that and realizing that something needs to be done about it.
Yeah, and since you're dealing with both parties, the clients and the partners, so how do you usually tailor your communication style to different parties?
So I would say it depends on the kind of rapport you've got with both. So I don't deal with the clients directly, that's with our sales team. So with the sales team, because we work together a lot, it's a lot easier because I know them, they know me. But with partners, because I speak to so many, it's about the kind of relationship I have with them as well. There are some partners where I've got to be completely professional. I can't approach him in the same way as others where I may have known him for a while, we may have done a lot of business together, we may have that kind of rapport where we can talk a bit more informally and speak in a way in which we have a greater understanding of what each other wants. So you've got to literally tailor it to each situation. Otherwise, if you just have a one size fits all, like McDonald's, well, you're going to make some people unhappy, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you've got to be, I wouldn't say you're treading on eggshells, but you've got to at least have some kind of intonation as to the situation you're getting into. And yes, sometimes you will have to play hardball. You may have to roll figures about and everything, which you never want to do. That should always be your last resort. Never go in with, we do this much business with you, so I think you should I think you should just do this for us. No, that's literally the last thing you should do, because you know what? You're likely to lose a partner right there.
Yeah.
So, one, always judge the situation separately. 2, try and find similarities with situations you found before. And 3, always know your audience, know your partner, and know how to speak to them.
Yeah. Okay, so apart from that, what strategies do you have for building a strong relationship and maintain that relationship with our supplier and partners?
Definitely face-to-face meetings. When you can put a face to the name, it always helps, because emails, phone calls, even video calls, they're okay, but you don't get the full measure of a person just by being over the phone or over the internet. I mean, we kind of take it for granted these days, where we can reach everyone at the touch of a button, which is great. It's helped shrink the world amazingly, but when it comes to actually getting business done, there's no better thing than to actually see the person in the flesh. That's the reason why networking events are brilliant. You get to meet new people, you get to meet your partners, which you've already seen maybe 10, 20,000 times before, but you get to reforge that relationship. You can find out what issues they're facing in a more informal setting. And when it's more informal, people are always more relaxed rather than just a pure business setting. Also a few beers and everything. that always helps. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've seen that. Because I went to events with Osei last month, so he's really good at social networking, and he remembers every single partners and suppliers and people he've met. So I think he's really amazing on doing social networking. That's why we have this live today, for giving you tips for how to improve your social skills. Yeah, but I'm really intrigued. How can you memorize their face and their name and what they do? Cause the Saba event we went to last time.
Yeah.
There are so many people and it's really crowded. But every single person there, almost. So I was amazed.
Oh, thanks. I don't know how it's always been something which I've made an effort to do, if you get me. When it comes to putting a face to the name and then remembering the person, I always think to myself, if I've met someone before and they weren't to remember me, I wouldn't take offense to it, but I think, was I really that unmemorable? So I always try and make it so that whoever I meet, I make a conscious effort to remember their name, I remember their face, because it makes people feel special as well. It makes people feel like they're necessary, they're needed, and that you appreciate them. In today's world, I mean, sorry to get a bit macabre for a second, but we see mental health is a massive issue, and sometimes all it takes is for someone to just remember who you are, to brighten your day when you're having a really bad one. So
that's true. So another thing is that have you ever handled any conflicts with our partners or suppliers, and how do you manage to still maintain a really good relationship with them?
Okay, so there are a few where this has happened. So I've learned this from my director, my manager as well. Step away from the computer. Write the email which you want to send, then delete it. And then write the email that you need to send. And that comes from them seeing me fly off the handle when I first started. There was one case where literally I was completely green, and I went in on it like a bull in a china shop. And unfortunately it didn't end well. I'm much better than I was then. I still have my moments, but it is just about maintaining that level of professionalism that people expect of you. You can't, at the end of the day, there's going to be money riding on this, but more so a relationship riding on this. So you've got to treat the person with respect, the same kind of respect that you would expect to be treated with, and even if they are not treating you with it, you've got to maintain your professionalism. If not for anything else, just to make sure that you've done everything you can to salvage what is salvageable.
Yeah.
If you can genuinely look yourself in the mirror and say, I did everything I could, then you've done a good job.
Do you have any quick tips for that? Like tips you don't really need to advance, but you can use tiny tricks when you're facing that situation.
Keep a calm tone.
Yeah.
Always keep a calm tone. Try and speak as clearly, as slowly as possible. Don't raise your voice. Now, the reason I say clearly and slowly is because a situation escalates when you start speaking fast, because it shows that all of a sudden you're getting heated. If you can at least keep your tone at a certain level, then it's possible maybe to bring the other person, down a couple of adrenal levels. I would also say, don't try it. This one's always hard, especially for me. Don't try and sound condescending. For some people, it's not even that they mean to do it, it's just the way they are. I've got this problem as well. I do sound very condescending at times, and I've got to watch myself because of that. Even if the situation may be a tight one, try and lighten it a bit. I'm not saying go full on blooming Chris Rock. What I mean is try and find what positives can be salvaged from this situation. For instance, you may have a client which wants a full refund and they're not going to take anything but a full refund. God, I've been there, and it's a blooming annoying situation. But you've got to look at the short-term loss versus the long-term gain. Okay, we may lose a certain amount of money here, but if we do this, there's a potential for much more business to come your way, and I will make sure that it comes your way.
Oh, I see. Because my desk is kind of next to yours, so I can hear you talking to different people every day. Yeah, I can kind of imagine. And do you have any advice for people who are not really good at social networking when it comes to events and talking to suppliers, because they are a bit shy or not as confident as you to speak with people?
So funnily enough, I am the same.
Oh, really? Oh, are you joking?
I'm not. When I first started, I didn't speak to anyone.
Oh.
I was the literal good boy of the office. I was very timid. I was like, yes, I'll do this and that. And you've got to, I think it comes with confidence and starting to learn a bit more about, well, for me, it was about learning more about what I do. And realizing that with any kind of social interaction, not everyone is there judging you. Yes, you are still in a business situation. do not get that twisted. People will judge you, but they are not judging you in the way in which you think they are. And show your personality. It doesn't matter if you're shy or not. Everyone's got something to bring to the table. You know, and then once you meet one person, then you meet the second person, and all of a sudden that snowballs.
Yeah.
Is being shy, being introverted and everything, it does hold you back in a lot of ways, but at the same time you also realize you've got certain qualities that you can bring to the table. You're not going to become an extrovert overnight. Hell no. But it's about realizing that whether you are still, whether you're introverted or extroverted, you're still something in it. Always, if it helps, look at yourself in the mirror every morning and just go, you know what? I'm the bee's knees, and I can't say what I really want to say because I'm on camera, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, I do agree, because before, I'm not shy, but I always think I'm not really good at speaking to people at an event, but from my previous job, because I had to organize events and stuff like that, I gradually learned and get used to talking to people like you and memorizing their information, building a relationship with them. I think it's just kind of it takes time and practice to grow the social skills and the confidence. The more you're more familiar with the conversation and the things you do, the more your confidence you get, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, do you have any advice for people who just started the career in a partner relationship and who wants to improve their social skills?
Become a sponge. Look, you don't know it. No matter how confident you are, you don't know it. Don't go into this job or any job thinking that you are, just because whatever you did before, it means that this is going to be simple. No job is simple. Every job has its quirks. Every job has its nuances. Use the time to learn from people who have been in the industry for way longer than you, because they'll know what's going on, and use that to your advantage. You will have a well of knowledge, and tap into that, because it will help you astronomically throughout your career. And will I say, no challenge is too great. No challenge is too great. Never think that you can't do it. Never think you can't do it. Only after trying it will you know if you can do it. Go into everything with the attitude of, okay, let's see if I can, and you may just surprise yourself.
And meanwhile, I think our company is hiring at the moment for different job openings. You can find it on our LinkedIn page. And also, we are looking for onboarding new landlords in London. So if you're interested to become one of our new partners, you can contact us from LinkedIn and Instagram as well, or you can email property acquisitions at TheSqua. There's a dot after the A as well. Let's see.
So basically, it's TheSqua.re.
Yeah.
That's the way I always try and describe it. As weird as it is.
Yeah.
TheSqua.re.
Yeah. that should be like a catchphrase for our company. You say it in a really commercial way. Okay. So On the 26th of May, same time, we're gonna have another live broadcast as well. It's featuring one of our business account manager who's recently got promoted. So she's gonna share her experience and insights on business account management and career growth. So you can keep an eye on our events update. We will publish like a week ahead of the live. Okay, thank you everyone. I think that's all for today. And happy Friday, and
Happy Friday, guys.
have a great long weekend.
See you soon, guys, and thanks for tuning in.